Shelley. Welcome to our Friday video.
Yay! So we're doing something a little bit different today. We are not really going to be showing you any new arrivals. Okay, so I'm going to sneak in a couple new arrivals.
But there are tons.
There are. Yes, there are. So many boxes. We're working on it. We're going to talk about 5 good sewing habits. First, we're going to do some quick show and tell.
What have you been making this week?
I made this little neckerchief.
A coat for you?
A coat, yeah. This would qualify as a nice warm coat for me. So I made this, blocked it the other day, and it's small, but really cozy.
Very soft.
It is, it's nice. And then I took a class on Saturday with my punch needle certification instructor. This was just a random other class that I took online with her on Saturday.
Fun.
And I made this.
This is so cool.
So it has punch needle with yarn, with fabric, and then prati, which is something I had never done before. And there's a little couching done down here. So I learned all kinds of neat techniques in it was a punch needle class, but with some extra stuff added in, and it's on linen, and it was really fun. I like doing it.
And these flowers, you said you put in from back here.
Yep, here's the back.
But they look so pretty in such great shapes.
Yeah.
And they don't look like they went through the little hole of the,
Nope, they don't. I know.
The fabric. Yeah.
So that was really fun to make. And what do you have?
I have Susan's quilt.
Nice.
So this is a gorgeous quilt Susan made out of Ruby Star and artisan cottons. That wasn't coming out of my mouth. Some V & Company. Just really pretty.
So pretty. Those colors are awesome. It's so rich. Let's look at the back.
Yeah, I tried calling dibs and was told no.
Nope, husband already did the dibs.
Yep. Yep. But it's gorgeous.
So pretty. She quilts this on her own machine at home, doesn't she?
Yes.
Nice job. Nice job, Susan.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to sneak in a couple new arrivals. Yesterday, we received a pallet of dead stock fabric.
Yes.
And we're really excited to get those entered and take a look at them. They're pretty cool.
They're not in the system yet,
Nope.
and probably won't be for this Friday, but watch for them. There's some great knits and some denims. Shh. Not supposed to talk new arrivals.
Right. And also, speckled, Ruby Star speckled on canvas is on its way probably next week. Yay! Okay, so enough of that. All right, 5 good sewing habits. Number 1, clean your machine. That's something that I do pretty much every time I sit down to sew. I get in there with my little dusty brush and clean out the dust. I get my tweezers out if I need to get behind the little, like the back of the hook area. I'll get into that little crevice there and pull out threads. Sometimes I'll have to actually grab them to pull them off of something. And that's pretty unusual. Usually I just dust and then I oil. So I oil, again, pretty much every time I sit down to sew on my machine. So I think not everybody knows that you should do it that often. If you think about it, it's metal rubbing on metal, depending on the machine. So it needs to be nicely oiled, nicely lubricated. And not all machines do take oil though. Some have it in a reservoir within the machine, and then there's a wick that brings it in. So do look at your manual before you start oiling on a machine you're not actually supposed to oil on.
That's right. That's right, because I'm not supposed to oil my machine. It has the reservoir. But I do clean my machine out. And one way during the project, if it tells me that it needs to be cleaned, is my thread cutter stops cutting. And I'm like, uh-oh, now it's cleaning time.
Yep. And you might have to get out your tweezers and then a flashlight. Good thing a lot of us have flashlights in our pockets all the time, right, on our phones. So it's usually easy to find a flashlight these days.
Yeah.
And that little felt mat that's down in your feed dogs or around in your bobbin area, that's not supposed to be there. That is fuzz that has built up, fibers that have built up in your machine from not cleaning. You don't want any little felt mats in there.
So I will say that on a Bernina.
Okay.
Different machines, some machines do have a little felt mat that you shouldn't pick out.
Okay.
So to get to know your machine.
Yes.
And clean it often.
Yep, that is true. All machines are different. That's definitely, like, for sure in the Berninas, there's no mat under the feed dogs. Okay,
Yeah.
that was number one. Okay, number two, change your needle often. So you want to make sure you're picking the correct thread and the correct needle for the job. Depends on fabric weight, thread size, thread content, fabric content, the way it's woven or knitted. And so there are a lot of things to think about when you're picking your needle and your thread. They say about every 8 hours.
6 to 8. 6 to 8.
I've also heard 4, so I guess it depends how rough your fabric is or your project is on what you're making. But if you hear popping sounds, or if the needle is starting to pull little threads and you can see little parts of your fabric that have gotten pulled. If it's a printed fabric, you usually see a little white line or something that, yeah. So if that's happening, you've got a little burr in your needle, you need to change it. If you're hearing a popping sound, your needle is too dull, maybe it has a burr too. And then hopefully you've changed it before you run into those things though.
Yeah. So kind of a good school of thought. If you're doing a big project, change your needles. Needles are cheap. It a lot of times saves us so much time just to change that needle and start with a fresh needle. And it saves you frustration.
And we have these great little Schmetz needle books that tell you all about needles. They're amazing. The Schmetz website has a lot of good information too. And one of the tips they had on their website is when you're selecting your fabric and your thread, just select your needles then too. So that you have the right needle for the project.
Yep, and those Schmetz books are free. So if you ever want one, let us know when you're in or you place an order. We're happy to send them to you.
Yep, just put it in the notes in your order and we'll put one in your package.
So when you are threading, Number three, when you're threading, super important to know your manual. You want to have your presser foot up to begin with. Now on my machine, the presser foot, I start up, I have it pulled over, and then I push the button and it threads it. And it does lower it, but then it pops it back up. On your machine, on the Berninas,
So on the more automated ones, the higher end ones, the newer machines, it will do the same thing. You want to start threading with the foot up. And the reason behind that is because when you put that foot down, the tension discs at the top close, and then the thread doesn't seat properly. So you want to make sure those tension discs stay open until the thread is in it, and then close. So the whole time you're threading on the top area, you want that presser foot up. When you get to the bottom, where you're actually threading it through the needle, that's when you put the foot down. And I interrupted myself, but on a lot of the newer Berninas and the higher end Berninas, it will automatically lower the thread when you engage that needle threader, or lower the presser foot when you engage the needle threader. All
right, so when you are changing your thread colors, make sure you cut at the top of your machine and then pull from the thread out from the bottom.
And when I do that, I cut right where the thread starts to go into the top of your machine. I cut it there, and then I just pull it out of the bottom.
And it's so you're not pulling back against your tension disc
and your check spring
and damaging them. So that is always ideal. And if for some reason you had to go backwards,
which that happens sometimes if your thread breaks and pops up where you can't get to it, or there are some reasons. Sometimes it'll just happen that you can't.
So 2 things to note there is that if you have that thread and you can unthread it backwards, which sometimes I can do on my machine, so I'm not, and then pull slowly so you're not damaging those tension discs.
And that check spring, at least in the Berninas, if you pull it out real fast and it was caught on it, then you can damage that check spring, and then you have to bring it in for service, get it fixed. So just go backwards slowly, and if you hit resistance, then figure out what's going on. All right, number 4. Do not sew over pins.
We all have at some point and another.
I mean, besides the fact that you can break a pin, a needle, end up with metal flying at your face, you can also mess up the timing on your machine. I did have a needle break once. Luckily, I'm always wearing my safety glasses, although it just brushed my cheek. It did avoid my eye anyway, but you can mess up the timing on your machine, and then you have to bring it in and have it serviced. So just don't sew over pins.
Yeah.
Take them out right before you get to them.
And if you absolutely, because your fabrics are slippery and they're sliding and you just can't get them, so you know you're going to have to sew over the pins. 2 hints. 1, pin more frequently so that your fabric doesn't have a gap to slide from. And 2, go really, really, really slow. So as you're coming up to that needle, you're making sure, 1, you're not hitting it, or you might be able to pull it out at the very last minute.
Or what I would say too is take your foot off the pedal and just hand crank, always toward yourself, hand crank as you go over the pins. So if you are going to hit it, you can adjust easily and avoid it.
Yeah. All right, this is a big
Number
one.
5.
Big one for me, number 5. Do not point out your mistakes. Okay?
Yep, just don't do it.
Don't do it. We all, I think, can feel a little insecure about our projects and want to point out that, hey, guess what? I screwed this up.
And I know it, right?
And I know it. So this is one of my bags.
Looks perfect.
It looks great. I've used it multiple times. I can probably tell you where a few of the mistakes are. I can tell you where a lot of the mistakes are. I'm not going to, unless I'm teaching you the class or I want Teresa's help to fix it. So give yourself a little grace, be nice to yourself, and don't point them out. You know, as many of you know, I gifted a whole bunch of the Holland pouch for Christmas. Not one of those people came back and said, mine only has 1 handle. Or mine has 2. Or,
Or your stitching wasn't quite straight
straight
in that one
enough.
place. Yeah.
you know, because stand back. If you can't see it on a galloping horse,
It's
5 miles
fine.
away, it's perfect.
It's fine.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I have some pottery pieces that I made years and years ago, and they didn't turn out how I expected. And I was like, well, I guess it's trash. So my mom said, give them to me. I love them. And now I see them at her house, and they are beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, I got to say, most people aren't going to point out your mistakes. And if they are, it's a unique design feature, and you meant to do it.
Just do it twice.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
All right, I think we did it.
Okay.
Those are your 5 good sewing habits to strive for. And next time we're going to talk about, risky, what do we call it?
Risky behaviors while
Risky
sewing.
behaviors. It's going to be fun to make that list. All right. Well, next Friday is First Friday, so
Yes.
we'll be live. So join us live, win some prizes, and we'll be there.
All right.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye, guys.